So today being the 13th of Jan, Conversion Lab. And today I want to talk about ideating at scale. If you've had any amount of university type education, or you've done any kind of course, you'll often run into frameworks like, the strategy ones like Porter's 5 Forces and SWOT analysis and so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of copy ones that are out there as well, and every industry has got their own. The question always ends up being is, when with this AI stuff that's coming about, can you just use it? And the answer is yes. But what if you were to make your own, right? And you can these days. You can go back and forth with the AI and kind of build pretty much your own version of it. This is pre-AI, when you had to do things manually and use your brain. So I read, let me just grab, so a few people jumping in. Let me just quickly grab.
Yeah. Okay, brings up.
Right. So in order so I read Gene Schwartz, and I was a bit disappointed because in chapter 2 he covers sophistication, and then in chapter 3 he covers market awareness, but he never really combined it, never really put it together into one framework. And so he gives you a whole lot of advice around how do you do awareness and the awareness level stuff, and then the sophistication stuff, but never really puts it together. And so you're left wondering, like, okay, well, he talks about product problem aware, and then I know you've got, you're in a market that's exhausted, for example. Well, what do you follow, and how do you mix it together? So with a lot of difficulty, I did that. I had a whole spreadsheet going, and then I read Great Leads by Michael Masterson and John Ford. I think he has I can't forget his real name. Anyway, whatever the real name is. If someone knows, just yell it out or put it in a comment. I think that's a pen name.
It was John Ford, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so that's his. Okay, so he writes. So he's got two. He writes it himself and as Michael Masterson. So it could be that.
He was starting to come out. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
Mark,
there you go. Go on. Sorry, Joss.
Mark Ford.
Mark Ford. That's it. There you
Mark,
go.
that's it. Nice one, Joss.
So the two Fords. Thank you. All right. So anyway, so I ran to the Great Leads, and I was like, you know what? So I built this analytical model in spreadsheet that told me sort of with lots of if statements and stuff, and it gave me sort of like what you would want to do based on that. Anyway, it was my interpretation of it, obviously, because I didn't have the chance to have all three people in one room saying, listen, well, cool, how would we put it together? And that seemed to work really well because it simplified the problem rather than having to work out what to do. And so, but nevertheless, I did teach it to a small group of people, but it was really hard to apply because unless you'd gone and done, some deep work in Gene's world, and then done a whole bunch of deep work in the leads world, and the Great Leads world, that is, which is how to write the leads, as in for the sales that are leads, not leads as in people you sell to. It became a little bit difficult to apply. And anyway, I never really taught it from that point onwards, and used it myself until I ended up, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Until Mark Ford. So thanks, Kelvin. Until it was time to sort of with this AI stuff that came about, and I happened to implement it in AI earlier today, and I thought I'll share it as a bonus to everybody who decides to get Speed SOS. I'll give it to you guys. Now I'll show the actual thing, post call and as part of the course, but it essentially creates this entire. Let me make it a bit bigger here so I can show you. And this is not nothing to do with this framework, because it's obviously a framework that I came up with. But you can use any framework. You can come up with your own framework, or you can use one off the shelf, and sort of really help you to generate a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll pick one here that I kind of added a little bit more notes and stuff to it. So this is a market sophistication level with many mechanisms, and the awareness level. Let's put it that someone is problem aware. So what we're looking at here is sort of problem aware and many mechanisms. So it's sort of like that quadrant right there. And what does that look like when it gets to sort of using the AI to ideate for you or with you? Ends up looking like this. It gives you a profile for psychographics, gives a profile for aspirations, the hidden desires, the silent pain, And I asked it to give only one kind of hook. That's because if you ask it to create all of these, you'll run out of tokens. You'll run out of the constraint of the AI kind of gets in the way. So for that reason, I asked it to give me just like a sampler, and based on that, you pick the one that you want to go with. So let's say, for argument's sake, I think for my example here, I picked this one right here. So I want to go for, I'm first in market and unaware level, which is not going to be too many places in the world that exist. But let's say, for argument's sake, if that's the one you picked, the AI then reruns just for that. But now it goes and creates all of the 6 great leads. And that's what this one here looks like. I'm going to increase the size again as well. Gives you a little bit of a background about what it is, and then the opportunities. And there you go. There's if I were to write an offer lead to this quadrant, if I were to write an offer lead to that quadrant, each lead, what would it look like? So there's the offer would look like this. If I were to do a promise, it would look like this. If I were to do a problem solution, it would look like this. If it was a secret one, it would look like that. And then the proclamation would look like this. And then the story lead would look like this. Now, the goal here is not necessarily to just use it as is. Obviously, you could if you're short for time, or if you're I've got some budget to blow and you're going to put 5% to a split test or 10% to a split test. You could easily throw one of these up or massage it. So make sure it's, check for compliance and all the other stuff, and really test across the entire spectrum. Because the thing is, oftentimes is I don't know about you, but certainly me as a marketer, you kind of wrestle, like what do you go with, and you often you pick one option and you're always wondering, like, would the other road that I didn't travel on, would that give me a better outcome? And oftentimes, to rewrite the whole thing is a royal pain, and you can actually use something like this to give you the other version or variation, and actually just run this as your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth variation, and see if this gives you a better outcome or a better way. Now, you can also obviously use these leads, to write Facebook ads of this, and entire sales letter of this, or whatever the advertorial, so on and so forth, and really gets you to understand where in the market you can play with. So it's more of an ideation tool rather than just using it as is. Of course, you can still use it as is if you want to. And so in the Speedo SOS, I'm going to show you guys, firstly, how I built it. Secondly, what are the constraints I ran into? And thirdly, how you can extend this, because you can really extend this to turn it into a almost like a full copywriter. So I'll be sharing bits and pieces about that. Right. So just wanted to share with you that we're in a world where there's almost no limits now as to what you can do with this technology. The only constraint being that the model sometimes doesn't behave, and sometimes you run out of tokens. But I'll share some hacks on how to make it give you more tokens than what it actually is permitted to give. So I've got examples where I can make it give almost 35, 40,000 tokens, while its physical limit is only 8. So there's things you can put inside your prompt that kind of tricks it. So I'll share a bit about that as well. Doesn't work all the time, but it works sometimes. That's how you're able to get an entire sales letter if you wanted to from the whole thing. So when I was playing around with this, I ended up. So at first I created. Oops, not that. So I did create an entire sales letter. I'll show it during the course. I don't want to waste time looking for it here. Where it created almost 18 to 25 page sales letter from a sequence of prompts, and essentially turning it into, and it seems to break through the limitations that even Claude gives you, because I know a lot of people complain about Claude not giving the right quantum of output. You can actually hack that. So I'll share a bit about that as well. So anyway, so I want to thank I think all of you have on the call that have already joined the course. So which is good. Look forward to seeing you guys there. But that's essentially what the early part that I wanted to share today was about how you can take your frameworks. And usually what people have done is they just prompting like once or twice. Well, I'll share automations that have been implemented inside N8N that actually turns it into like a product if you wanted to, an internal product, and you can reuse it over and over again. So you don't have to keep going, copying and pasting prompts and all that sort of stuff. You can actually automate it and use the output of one as input for another as an entire sequence. And so we'll be going through that in Speed SOS. There's a question here. Let me just make sure I cover that. Yeah, that's correct. I haven't had the chance to play with the enterprise version. I do have the pro version, which has worked quite well. But I'm just using the normal one, and I was able to get many more tokens than that. But yes, Claude 200,000 is probably the best one to use if you can afford it. Yeah, I was on Poe for a while, but now I just go directly to the actual AI itself. So if I have to go to Gemini, I go to Gemini directly. Plus, when you're building automations, Poe is not really an automation you're going to use. Poe is more the UI version. But when you're running automations, you're playing with the AI, the API. So for that, Poe is not gonna work, or at least not that I've signed up to Poe's API. So yeah, let's go direct. All right. Okay, cool. So any questions on this? And I know we're going to cover quite a bit in the course itself, but I wanted to just share with you guys that there are no limits as to what you can do now with these automations, and sort of how you can feed one to the other, and you can really sequence them out to do like 5, 10, 15, 20 steps now, and which effectively starts acting pretty much like it's your own, like a team member in a lot of respects. So anyway, we'll go through that in the course itself. I want to go through now and just see if there's any questions on this, on thinking through this stuff. So if there's not, then what I'll do is I'll move on to the GTM side. We've received a few questions recently about Google Tag Manager, and so I'll move on to that now. Cool. So yeah, if anyone's not interested in GTM stuff, yeah, please feel free to exit here. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all on the Speed SOS course. Right. The GTM stuff, I found recently that some people are complaining or have kind of come back saying, hey, listen, you know what? The conversions aren't working for Google. And so when I checked it out, they'd sort of done this. They'd added in the GTM stuff here, right? And but I'm just going to put this in, but they forgot to come down to the bottom here and activate this bit right here. So sorry, this bit right here was missing. And I've covered it quite extensively in the training videos, so I wasn't too sure why this wasn't done. So anyway, so just filling this in will actually get it to work. You put your conversion ID here in your label, and it just starts working. So that is the second thing that I wanted to sort of share today. Otherwise, I think Josh, you had a question. Josh had a question about not being able to track the referrer that's coming through. Josh, if you're on the call, was that an embedded situation or direct link? Josh, can I hear you? Your mic's unmuted. Was it the situation that you were telling me about today? Was it embedded or direct link? Nope, it looks like it's maybe fallen through. Right. Anyway, I'll assume that it's embedded, because that's the more complex situation. So this is where you've embedded your decision tree. How do you grab the referrer? So where the link of where the traffic is coming from. Let's say you wanna grab that. How do you do that? Okay, so the goal here would be that you want to add it's quite easy. You get ChatGPT to create the script for you, but what you want to do is you want to send that data to this function right here. So it's LH set fields, which is different to DT set fields. People are quite fairly aware of DT set field, which is inside the decision tree. The LH set field is when you want to send data from third party into Leads Hook. So because obviously you've got your website and you've got leads hook embedded into it. If you want to send that information to leads hook into a custom field, then you want to use LH set field. So you would put a function on your main site, your Unbounce page or your WordPress page or your Go High Level page or whatever. And what that function does on the second page. So you're sending traffic to a page on which leads hook does not sit. Is that correct?
Main site goes to a subdomain landing page.
But where's leads hook embedded?
On the subdomain landing page.
Got it. Okay, cool. Okay, so then what you want to do, okay, so here's what you would do then. Let me see if I can, I want to draw a diagram here.
Leads
So
hook is grabbing the secondary domains.
Yeah, it would, because obviously it doesn't know where it came from because it's not sitting on the main page. So let me quickly conversion lab. Okay. That's just a good question, by the way. All right. Okay, so you've got your ad. Let's assume it's an ad or email or whatever it is. And we are going to the main, or you could say the first lander. Let's call it that. And now so this does not have leads hook on it, right? So this is going to be no leads hook. So obviously we can't see it, because otherwise we would see it. If leads hook was embedded on it, we would
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
The subdomain lander. Okay, that's where the DT is sitting. So what you want to do is you want to add a script. I'm just going to put this at the bottom here. Oops.
there's a little thing now that says, shows you what the buttons do. You want to do that?
Right. Just going to turn J off for a second there. Right. So what you want to do is you want to add a script here, right, that grabs the referrer. Or if the landing page software is already grabbing the referrer, then all you want to do is you want to pass it to leads hook using the LH.set field. Right. So in your case, what you would do is you would have a referrer field or whatever you create inside leads hook, and what you will do is you will grab that and you would pass it to this. So that's going to be custom field. Call it, let's say, I don't know, referrer ABC. And this is going to be what the function that is going to add the value there, which is going to be the referrer site. Because leads hook doesn't exist on this page, it doesn't have any visibility of it. So since it sits here, its referrer is going to be this page here, which is what the issue is. But what you're saying is that you want to grab the referrer from here. So that's why you want to add a script to this page that grabs the referrer that's coming through on the page. If your landing page software already has that, then you're just going to add a small JavaScript that's going to pass it. That's going to add, sorry, it's going to add it to the URL. I'm so sorry. Going to grab the referrer, and it's called decorate. That's the word you want to use in your prompt, the URL. So what it's going to do is the whatever button or whatever you add to the page, when you click it, it's going to add that here. So what you want to have that's coming through to this page is going to be the leads hook site.com !, referrer equals whatever the referrer URL is. So as long as you do this, what's going to happen is if you've got that custom field already set up inside leads hook, we'll grab that automatically. So your referrer URL will end up in that field. So what's happening here is you grab the referrer, and then on the button or the click or whatever it is, when it's clicked, when it ends up onto this page, so when you go from here to here, I should probably remove that, it automatically will add that onto the URL like so. That's what you have to do. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can do the prompt.
That makes sense.
Right. Okay, right. So I'm just gonna go. is as a web developer. Is in tracking. To the forum.
Will that decorate all outgoing links?
Yes. You would have to you would have to make sure that the button has got the class on it. Okay, so anyway, let's just go do this first. My button. So if my button when clicked goes to column. Yeah, let's just see what it does. Normally you don't have to do much. It's created the whole page here. We don't want that. That's the function. Nope. Assume I am only adding in a script and edit to button. Give direction button.
Will that grab the whole page link or will just the main domain?
I'll grab the you can grab it with the param. So let's say okay, let's go.
Not necessarily param, so that'd be useful.
Yeah, no, you decide what you want. You can have both.
Okay.
So you can have referrer 1, referrer 2, and you can have one without it and one with it, or you can just ask it to grab both. It'll do something like this.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you're looking for here, and that's the instructions here. So that's the script you'll put on Unbounce or whatever landing page builder you're using, and that way it's going to grab that, and then the actual decoration part actually looks like something like this. And so what it's doing is it's creating it's already adding it in. So as soon as you click it, it'll automatically know because it's the class of button, and it actually is adding it to that. So it automatically will take care of that bit like that. That's probably the best way to do it.
Mind jumping back up to your prompt?
Like,
the prompt.
Sorry? The prompt. Oh, yes. Here, I'll just share it with you. Create a share link. And
yeah, perfect. Thanks, Nick.
No worries. That's it.
And
That's a
how
great
would you
question because it shows like really we're no longer limited by having to know all this codey stuff. If you get an error, just copy and paste the entire error message. I mean, these days, I mean, as much as I can read the amount of code, I just copy and paste the error message without even saying anything. It goes, oh, cool, sorry, made a mistake, blah blah blah, and it just fixes it for you.
I'm building whole sites out of code again now. It's like going back to the past.
Yeah, it's often easier just to do it that way, and because
Like
of
plugins
because of the tool. Yeah, because of the tool. There you go. There's the chat right there. Great question, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've had this happen in especially for like guys who do a lot of affiliate stuff. They do similar to this because they want to build a bridge page in the middle and all that sort of stuff. So that's usually the right way of doing it. Now your script here can be extended, so it actually passes all the UTMs as well, all your UTM parameters and whatever else that you want. So you can actually decorate a lot here. You can also do where you can dynamically pass and embed here, and then dynamically change what that page is embedding itself. So I helped someone do that some months ago, where they had multiple DTs, but based on where the traffic came from and what they did on the page, they wanted the embed to change. So there are two ways of doing it. Either you could have lots of pages that you're redirecting to, or just pass it to the same page, but inside that page, you would change the embed in real time. So we went with that option. So therefore, you only have one page that it goes to, but it's changing the embedded DT in real time based on how you behaved or whatever you did on this first page. Cool. Awesome.
We got Google traffic going, but also the main one I wanted to track was organics.
Right.
How should I set it up so it can differentiate organics?
Yeah. So the biggest issue is direct versus organic. And if they're signed in with the security stuff, then oftentimes it won't give you the information. So what ends up happening is your direct traffic, which is me typing it in, sort of muddies what is organic or what is being referred to. So I think the way to do it would be to isolate, and I haven't done this in a while. So you want to isolate when someone is coming, when someone is typing it directly in the URL versus coming from either some other site and or Google. And so you might need three different classifications: a third-party referrer, a no referrer, because it could potentially wipe it out or not have a referrer. That could be you could put that as direct, and anyone who's coming from a Google result would be your third one. So you want to.
Is Google considered?
Sorry.
Would Google be considered a referrer, like a Google organic?
Yeah. Well, I suppose okay. So I guess direct to me is me typing in, leadshook.com. That's direct, right? If I'm coming from everything else is referred traffic in some way, either a search result, and or I don't think I have it here, but if you have a header, do I have that? No, I don't. There's
two ones we want to track for. It's Google Ads is sending it to an advertorial page on our main domain.
Yep.
And we're also getting
which is this
Google
scenario.
Yeah, so two scenarios, the main use cases.
So what you're telling me is that page is starting to rank. Correct?
Yeah, but a lot of pages are ranking. They're getting.
So who's referring to this page?
So I'm getting it through Search Console. I know that's getting ranking.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll be Google's organic rankings.
Right.
SEO.
Okay, cool. In that case, yes, you want to definitely track that. That's on WordPress or just normal pages? Joss?
WordPress.
Sorry, okay, cool.
WordPress.
Okay, yeah. Then just use the plugin to use is let's see if my memory is Stefano Lisa WordPress plugin. There you go. How's that? Getting it right in one shot. That's the one you want to use. I mean, there's a few others, but that's the one that I've used. It just allows you, so when you add this in, it'll give you a little section on every page, and you can actually then go and grab this script right here and add it to the page. Or you can add it to the header page as well, which will disallow you to do it, or the footer, I should say. And it means that it'll, in every button that you add the class to, so class button or ID, it'll automatically then add in the params to it. Cool. All right. Any other questions? Good question, by the way. It's this technical stuff that really separates like the pros from the amateurs, because I'm seeing that a lot of people aren't able to go live because they just don't have that last mile, that technical skill to finish that last mile off. And so they kind of, like I've got someone who's, they reached out to me, I think they're spending a couple of $1,000s a month at the moment on Google Ads. But they don't have their conversions tracking set up, which is a bit of a shame because that feedback is not going back to Google. And it's like it was in the too hard basket is why they didn't do it. Anyway, it's so
Sorry.
having a little bit of the technical skill helps.
You just went ahead and put a plugin.
Yeah, and I'm just saying like a lot of people, oh, not a lot of people, but I'm seeing scenarios where not having that slight technical skill, in 2025 you don't need that much technical skill anymore, is really stopping a lot of people from going live. Or if they are going live, they're going live with really botched tracking. It's I don't know. It's 2025. It's still a problem. I've been barking about it since 2016. It's still yeah. I ran into someone who's spending a couple of grand a month, still hasn't got their Google Ads tracking set up properly. So it's just like, I don't know. We've given. I don't know what else to do.
It's always been an issue.
Yeah, I know. It's like a forever issue.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Any other questions on anything else that we've covered today? If there's not, then we'll make it a short call. I'm preparing for the course, so looking forward to sharing some good tricks with you guys on what to do. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, we'll call it a day, and I'll see you same time, same place next week. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever the thing is, on the Speed SOS workshop.